this slavery is not the one they use physical chains.
No.
It's the one that, yes, when you tie a dog with a chain, you now remove the chain, and the dog still remain in that place.
Same spot.
Yes, that's the kind of slavery that we are in. Not knowing that our destiny is now in our hands. Not being able to live among ourselves. Africans are tribalists. All over Africa. Even that Kenya we are talking about.
Yes.
It is that tribes that they used to hold them down for a long time until they now want to come and put a sign in their eye before all of them are united. What's wrong with Nigeria? If Nigeria unite, the whole black race will stand up. Americans, the black Americans, they are waiting for Nigeria because we are powerful. We are powerful. What's holding us? Why are we allowing people like Tinubu and the rest? People who we know they have sold their soul. They can eat just their own share. You know how rich Nigeria should be. You know how big Nigeria's position should be. People who want to save themselves, they are already finding ways. Look at China. The reason why they are complaining about China every day is not because of one thing. It's because China is trying to free themselves, and they have done it. And they are scared that China is going to be the next world power. Other people who want to free themselves, you see them joining BRICS. But Nigeria no gree move. You no join BRICS. You no do anyone. You still they carry yourself go hospital. But this thing they boil my heart. If I didn't talk, I will start small. The thing will they boil my heart. If I say make I go explode. What is this now? But even this Ilu Itawa, all this their politics of saying foreigners should go. They just publish one big it's a lie. They are just using it to win election. This Stockholm here. Once the people living in Stockholm, they are not enough to occupy all the job positions. There's a lot of jobs, but they use this immigrant thing to win election. I say it's immigrants that
they go back into exploitation. They are exploiting us to their visas, this, visas, that. And when it's convenient, they use us to play their politics.
They use us to win election. Yes. There's still a lot of jobs left. But how if you win election? And it is all our bad government. By this time, if Nigeria is good, what are we going to? Why will some of us be?
Exactly.
Why are we here? Our citizens want if I one lazy now. I want to share one now.
And now
we are doing all the job.
Because they can choose not to. The rest of them are right there at home collecting benefits.
Yes,
the same ones collecting that benefit will be the one turn around and say, "Go back to your country."
Go back to your country.
They have no value.
The insult is too much. Now, if you look at Nigeria, the things that are happening there is like they are pouring water in their brain every day. Look at somebody like that one that called himself what's his name? That fat guy. Give him what is that thing? What is that? Are we in 1920? What is this?
My guy, I tell you. I heard that they are giving people in stock up. Is that also true, Sha? They say they are giving people 34,000 euro to go back to their country.
Look at this. Right? Look at that kind of insult. Yes, now. Insult now. People is shame now. That's insult now. They're giving us insult. Say they are giving people. How much is that? Compared to how much you have worked in this country, how much your pension that are saved already.
Who of exploitation they've actually used for.
So they are now telling everybody that this whole shenanigan or this whole life of naturalization is all false. It's all false.
Nonsense, I tell you. Integration.
All these governments
have to integrate. You have to learn their language, blah. We will never be genuinely admitted as
never be genuine.
Never.
They're just showing you that look, you don't belong here, you can never belong. Some people who have children here, how can you be telling them go back? Which kind of law is that? Your father. It can never happen. Make you pack your load, they go house. For what? After how many
years? They are collaborating with the people that are destroying the whole place. They are allowing them to exploit our people there, steal from them, keep us in poverty, and then they can just toy with us here.
It's criminal. Look at the kind of salt they're giving to people. That you should just pack one day. You just pack one day and say you are going back after all your sweat. You know how many years some people have worked? Your pension that has been saved already is more than that money.
You get? And they know.
You just come and take your peanut and leave.
Just go away. We don't need you anymore.
They know now. They know now. One more now.
Prince.
It's because our countries we are not doing well. Look at the kind of
more enough why a lot of us who lives in the diaspora. It is actually so sad for anybody to be living in diaspora and be supporting the criminals destroying Nigeria, for example. Right? Giving excuses for them. It's a shame. Seriously.
It's a big shame. A big shame. Look at. Just like our people, they don't want to reason. They don't want to reason. Your president will go to one tiny hospital in UK.
Prince, Baba, thank you very much. You have a good night, okay? And take it easy too. Somebody said that, is it the only Africans? I get your point. There are people who believe that we should stop just complaining about colonialism, stop complaining about slavery. But the point here is this. Only people who are naive will think that the people in Africa are just complaining because they are lazy. Or it's because something like, look at China and the rest of all those things you give excuses to, right? But if you kind of pay attention very well to why Africans, despite slavery and then colonialism, which also happened in China, Asian countries, and all these places, right? There is no continent in the world that is as rich as African continent. No continent in the world, and that is why the the compromising of our leadership system in Africa is done by the West, whereby the process of choosing those who actually lead us aright is not the same way that they are treating the people in Asia or Arab world. You see, Africa is so rich that the West is not Africa. The Africans can't choose their leaders or protect their leaders. But the West, who knows that with the proliferation of different arms and armed groups, where people are deliberately sponsored, weapons of destruction being moved to the Africa, different groups armed, to just perpetuate killings, unrest, even where African countries where they had history of leaders that could probably have changed their situation. We have seen the involvement of the CIA, the involvement of other different secret Western security and all of those guys, terrorist groups, who have infiltrated different parts of Africa and deliberately to keep it destabilized. You will be naive if you just say, now only us then colonize. They've killed good people, and they will continue to kill good people that could change the fortune of Africa. So it is totally out of ignorance for anybody to think that people don't want better lives. They don't want good leadership in Africa. This Western world and their involvement in ensuring there will be no real peace, talk less of development, all because that's the only way they continue to have unhindered access to African resources. I will say it myself if I am ignorant and say Shena Oyinbo, they rule Nigeria. Is it Oyinbo that is asking our criminal leaders to be stealing? That's naivety and ignorance. If you understand what is called how and the involvement of the destabilization of Africa using means of terrorism and other means of violence to keep us underdeveloped, if you ignore them, I don't think your education has any value then, because we know what they have done and what they are still doing, where they kind of have to arm brothers after brother to kill themselves, destroy their communities, create unrest, all for what? Okay. Similarly, something like that is not happening in China. They have no means of, or what do you say? I mean, in Asian countries, so to say, they don't rampant in that place. I get you. I'm not blaming them, but some of these things happen because of who we are as well. Selfish, self-centered. People want to own the world. A black man, a selfish man. So that's the loophole that they actually really use. But yeah, you can differ, you can disagree. It's approved. It's understandable. But don't ever ignore it and say it doesn't exist. I will say it myself. I say, are they the ones still colonizing us? It's actually an act of naivety to say that, to ignore their involvement, all right? So I think I have another caller there. Hello.
Hello, Maya. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, bro. I want to just say a heavy thank you to Charm for just relieving me a little bit by concluding what I've been thinking since yesterday, about this Dangote stuff. I was even thinking about it because I don't see the reason why they will give you crude oil on Naira. Then you said on Naira, and the citizens still get it expensive, So I was like, I wanted to.
Make any economic sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any financial
sense.
No. Oh yeah.
No, I was thinking about this thing, and I wanted to use Nnamdi Kanu's analysis when he said you have a sword and you sow the sword, and you know that you are going to cook with the sword. And when time comes, you are now looking for the sword. You want to go and buy the sword again from who you sold the sword to come and cook. It doesn't make any sense. So, but what Cham just said now, Cham said that Dangote was also in this plan. So all these things, when we look at it, the drama they made with Dangote, blah, 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 all are in this plan to make it worse for the citizen. And you saw what the Secretary General of National Secretary of this IPAM said. Yeah. He said, now they will transport it. When they get it, they will transport it so they can be able, they will sell it any amount they want to sell it because through how the transport cost, the cost of their transportation from one place to the another. So that means that means we are going to buy this petrol for 3,000 or 2,500 a liter in some places, or 5,000 a liter in some places. And Nigerians, they must buy. So that my head is settled now. We've not know that the Dangote is in this plan. They are all just doing drama. Then coming to issue of the guy that said about the army man, when I saw that thing, I was like, what is this man doing? How can he be giving monetary prize to soldiers that needed allegiance to defend their nation? If you want to, everything I'm seeing everywhere in the world, they give medal. They give them medal, but giving them money in public is politics. It's no more army. Nigeria doesn't have army anymore. Nigeria doesn't have an army, so it's politics. So then last time, there's one guy, one military man, I don't know his own, I don't know his position. He always put on these sunglasses, even in the room. Every time standing up, speaking only English, Last time he was reporting, reporting about crime news, He was quoting numbers. And I told my wife, this number, this guy is quoting off head. 1,000 people were arrested. These 1,700 guns were, he was putting it for almost 30 or 40 minutes. He was putting numbers without paper. Is it a computer or AI? So everything he's saying there is rubbish because that is lies. It's lies. So and yet 2 days ago, I said something about Asari Dokobo. Thank God you showed this video this afternoon. Then Asari Dokobo, those people that Asari Dokobo was giving those water, those children, those youths, they are sad. Look at their faces. They are sad. Either Asari kidnapped them or Asari is holding them under duress. And this thing that I saw today now, in the next few days, if the news is real, we will hear what maybe those people went there to rescue those children. Because you can see them after I told you that day that these guys are not happy. They are like slaves. And the next time, the next video you showed, I saw on your platform this morning, where he was giving them water initiation. So that means if you run, maybe we keep just sort of engagement, like putting them in. So this is bullshit. And we say we have security agencies, we have army that play army. How can army be there and all these things is happening? That means they Tinubu or whoever are giving them a lot of money to be doing all these things. No, army is supposed to get involved. How can army say that he played allegiance and the citizen he played allegiance to defend are dying of hunger? Why the leaders, few leaders are eating and enjoying their life? And you are telling me that this is army. There's no more army. We don't have army in Nigeria. You people should stop talking about army. These are criminals. All of them are criminals. Okay, look at what they did to Showore. Showore enter inside the country. They picked him up at the airport. They just do drama. I don't know who advised them to leave Showore because they kept Showore the next 48 hours. It does that. Tinubu, what are they doing? I don't understand these people. I don't know where they
told me. One of my friends said, and I hope they won't go and stage an assassination attempt on his life, since they believe that if they arrest him right now, they may just martyr him, right? Which means he can just suddenly just pack something earlier. So they change their mind and decide
they cannot do that. Mm-hmm. They cannot do that one anymore because they already showed the people. They already put their power already. Then it's not left to Showore to guide himself. They already put their power outside.
Come back. They actually wanted to intimidate him and make him stay there.
Yes.
And he did.
Yes. They cannot do anything again to him, like assassination or something like that. They will not do it again, except if somebody from his body that will help them to do it. Then I want to say something about what you said. I want to differ a little bit from what you said about the colonial masters. I know colonial masters, they're still holding us. They are still holding us. Everybody knows that. Nobody's stupid. We know all these things. But that little window they opened. How can Tinubu go and buy Escalade? He want to be. Do you know the plane that Tinubu is using? A330. That is a very big plane. This is a passenger plane. And he's using it. And he bought a yacht. I've never seen Tinubu travel with that yacht. Who is using that yacht? You see, all this the little window they gave them, all African leaders. All the pictures I see in Africa, they look alike. There's nowhere you can see a developed Africa. So that only their families are eating. So that shows those people that are handling the little one they gave to them, they want to die rich. They want to live and die rich with their family. That means they don't have empathy for people. They don't have compassion for people. That's the problem. The West will not leave us alone. No, everybody knows that. They will never leave us. And now, like that's one thing David Udoyin is saying. I'm beginning to see those things in the West now. He said, David Udoyin said that everybody should go and make any African country his home because he get why. But now, if you observant, if you look into this any country you are now, you will see that these guys are trying to recover their country. They are trying to recover everywhere because
are now turning into far right, this, far right, that, right, this,
yes,
right, that.
Yes.
Like they want to
in Europe,
they feel because you know something, MOG, you know something.
Yeah.
These guys who are exploiting Africa in the last 50 years, they have done so much that they have also brought multiculturalism to their countries too, right?
Yes.
And
They
their
are suffering it
are
now.
now saying they can't even identify or recognize their countries anymore. They're everywhere now. They
Yes.
just have all these kind of people from all over the world, and they want them back. They want them to go way back. So maybe
they are crying. They are crying.
Maybe that's the window that will end this neocolonialism, right? Where majority of us will have to go back to where we come from. And this time around,
yes,
these far-right people will not be interested in us anymore. They will be interested in their country. That could be a window.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
yes,
I can agree with that. Because a lot of things are changing now, no doubt.
Mayegu, that is where it's going. In Europe, they came second. They came second in the election in Europe. You know, forget about all these things they are shouting. If you go in Sweden now, they are pushing. In Denmark, they are pushing everywhere. So one day they will take us back. I saw one video in Paris where the blacks they line up selling corn. In Paris,
they said their countries are now looking more like Africa or third world countries, and they don't want that
everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere. In America, a lot of Africans are taking over a lot of important places, jobs, and their people are not happy with it. Everywhere. So one day they will send everybody back. So now all these guys that are keeping small money, they're supposed to do a lot of things for their people, and they decide to eat it and die with it. Then these people, they don't have empathy and compassion. That's the only thing. I'm not blaming any Western colonialism, colonial or whatever. But what I'm saying is that our people are selfish. Thank you, Mayegu.
God bless you, MOG. You have a wonderful night. Okay. So I think I have another caller. Mind you, my viewers, we are almost coming to the tail end of the broadcast, okay? If you haven't really paid your own offering, your offering is to like the broadcast, okay? Like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel as well. If you haven't done any of that, please do. I have a caller. Hello.
Hello, my good evening.
Hello.
Happy you are back. Happy you are back, and we wish you more stronger health so that you can just tell our people the truth. I want to add to what the last caller said about
conspiracy theories.
No, it's
conspiracy theories. Oh, okay.
Baba. In the early 1400s, when the Portuguese started slavery, yes, when the I think Pope gave the King of Portugal the edict to start slavery in Western African coast. The first set of slaves they took were part of the first people that were in the Portuguese Empire. If you look into Portuguese records, there were black knights that were in the Portuguese Empire.
Right.
But something happened in history. All of a sudden, all those blacks, nobody can trace them again in Europe. The question that needs to be answered to date is what happened to them.
What happened to them? Like a proper cleansing.
Proper ethnic cleansing.
Well, you know, I mean, when somebody says that, hang on there about when somebody says all these things are conspiracy theories, right? Or we are witnessing a situation where some people are kind of campaigning. We call them racists, okay? They are campaigning and they are using immigrants. Then we are seeing some of them developing policies that are saying people, if you are willing to go back, come and take this, or you need to go back here and there. So I don't think everything there is, I'm not saying there is no conspiracy theory, right? Or if you are living in Europe, for example, we are witnessing, right? Some of these guys who are now trying to aspire to take over power, and they are building that based on immigration this, immigration that. When Hitler, because somebody said the reason why the West hates Hitler is because Hitler is the only person in history that killed white people. That others who killed blacks in history, they were actually praised all over the Western Hemisphere. They said the only reason why Hitler and his name and everything was to be erased, according to when he wanted to make the entire white race, Aryan race, as a superior race.
Yes.
He killed millions of white people. They didn't forgive him for that. But for those, King Leopold that killed more than 10 million or so Congolese in Africa, is that respected in this Western world? So I don't think everything is conspiracy. There are those who are seeking power to wipe some people out because of the belief that, you know, all this multiculturalism is making their own society non-recognizable anymore. You can't overlook that.
At all. Do you know why we cannot overlook it, Ebo? Do you know that even from our NI, they can know that we are not their immigrants? The NI of the national insurance number of a pure British is different from an immigrant.
See?
They will know.
There's always something there. And there are those who are actually looking at them. They are doing